Hello, welcome to this video by Indicator Vault. And in this video, we are going to go over the triangular pivot indicator. And what this does is going to find ascending or descending triangle patterns in price action. And of course, as we see here, with the blue and the bullish up arrow indicating a bullish breakout of the ascending triangle, and then obviously with the red, the descending triangle with the breakout pattern here. And of course, in this example, another bullish one here. And we're going to go over just some good ways to maybe add some other confluences and interpret this price action. And a very common one, to filter out whether to take the high probability sells or buys is always determining what the trend is. And you see here, I've got some EMAs turned on, the 50 and the 100. These are a very common one to determine the trend. When we see the 50 above the 100, that is typically going to indicate an uptrend. And of course, as we see in this example, they flipped back here. The 50 went above. So if we were to see a sell, a descending triangle breakout here, we would want to be typically very cautious just because there are conflicting, confluences going on. One telling us an uptrend, but then we have potentially a sell pattern. So we would just need more confluences besides just those two. However, as we see here, we have the bullish trend with a bullish breakout. We see another huge move up, and then I'm on the micro gold futures chart here. And then we see them flip here. And then we have a descending triangle breakout. Does not last for long, but it does play out to create another lower low, taking out this low. It's a little bit of consolidation. Another up move, flipping them again, now giving us an uptrend with another bullish breakout of the ascending triangle, retest, and skyrockets again. And here I am on the NASDAQ hourly chart, and we're going to go back to the gold chart in a minute, but I just want to show the same confluences with the EMAs. See the 50 above the 100 indicating an uptrend. We get the ascending triangle breakout. We do get a deep retest, but we do not see the low taken. So we are still confident in this low not being taken before we see a higher high, and that's exactly what we get. We get another strong move up, creating another higher high. They flip right here. So now the 50 is below the 100. Descending triangle breakout. Another strong move, but then we see a sharp move back up and, giving us confidence that maybe there's a bullish trend forming. And we do see that. We see them flip just after this buy signal forms. However, we get a retest, and we're going to go into some examples of how to catch this here in just a little bit. But a perfect retest back into the zone of the pattern itself, where we can find many, order blocks or supply zones to trade off of in here. Retest in here, and then off she goes again. And then still 50 is above the 100. They are separating. Another breakout. Retest back into the zone. Another strong move up into this week. So here I am back on the gold futures chart, the hourly chart, and this is the exact same price action we were looking at earlier, but now I've got the justified price zone indicator, another indicator vault one, on here. And like I mentioned, there can be ways to find zones inside of the pattern itself and help interpret one, where to trade off of, but also the trend as well. So for instance, justified price zone will give all these little retest signals of the zone itself. But with the confidence of the bullish, in this example here, we just see bullish zones forming. We are filtering out the descending triangles, such as this one. So just from reading it left to right, we get this zone form here. Triangle breakout here, comes and retest, and we get this descending triangle breakout here. So this is a conflicting bias going on. We have a bullish zone, but with a bearish chart pattern. And so that's why we want all the confidence that we can get and just, have our rules in place for how we want to trade. So not that there couldn't have been a trade here on maybe a lower time frame, but as we can see, this move was very short-lived. And the justified price zone indicator was giving us hints that it would be short-lived as well. Never goes below the zone before it continues its upward movement. But then here in this fractal of price action is where we are seeing the overlapping confluences. So I know it's a little muddy, but we can see the triangle pattern form. We see the breakout signal here. Moves up. And as it's moving up, I'll hide this for a second. This zone has formed right as the breakout has formed. And so we have the overlapping confluences of more bullish momentum. And that's, of course, what we see. We see a super strong move. And even if you want to refine it a little bit more, because this can be a little bit of a big zone, formed off of this strong candle here. Let me hide these. Find the range that it is in. And usually you're going to find the range is going to start somewhere in the triangle pattern itself. And so, of course, we see that here, this low anchored to this high that formed the breakout, and at the same time found this zone here. Let me turn that back on. Again, right in this zone. Put a Fibonacci on it, and look, it never, maybe just barely closes below the 61.8 here, but pokes into the discount zone of the range, coming into this gap here. Just some wicks. This would have been a perfect entry at the 61.8 with maybe your stop below here, and it completely skyrockets afterwards. And now here we are on the S&P 500 E-mini futures 30-minute chart. And this is going to be my favorite confluence with the triangular pivot, is the order block gen from Indicator Vault as well. Pairing this together is going to be very powerful in interpreting where price is going. So for instance, we obviously have bullish order blocks and bearish order blocks. Well, pairing these together, specifically inside of the patterns itself, you're going to find very powerful, order blocks form inside of these triangle patterns. Now, we do see a number of descending triangles here, and that is going to tell me that I should not put much confidence in the bullish order blocks for these. So just reading these some, we see a bullish order block here. Now we do get an upside movement, but see what happens? We don't create a higher high. And now as this is happening, we get a descending triangle pattern form with, it's a small one, but with a bearish order block forming as well. Let me zoom in. So again, as this formed here, this descending pattern was not here yet. But again, we see this, the exact same thing happen, a bearish order block form. And again, we see this bullish order block form inside of a descending triangle. So we are filtering this one out. We are not paying much attention to this one. And of course, as we see, it wicks through, doesn't create a higher high, and then breaks through it as well. So this is a great way of filtering out which are going to be the highest probability order blocks and patterns as well. So again, reading it, retest the bearish order block, creates a lower low, continues down. We don't really get a retest of this one until here, but what do we see? We do see a move down, does not last for long, and we are actually not putting much confidence in this move anymore, because what are we getting? We are now getting bullish ascending triangle patterns forming with bullish order blocks. See that here, this breakout. Inside of the triangle pattern itself, we have a bullish order block. It does come close to the low, but does not break it. Price retest the order block inside of the triangle pattern and creates another higher high. And we are seeing this play out over again. We have an ascending triangle breakout with multiple order blocks forming inside of here. We do see a very deep retest into these ones, does wick through it, but the logic is still playing out where we see a strong movement up. But again, this is where we have to be nimble and not just expect that every trade's going to play out. Catching an entry maybe on a lower time frame here as a retest inside of these order blocks, maybe you would have gotten stopped out once, but with another retest, caught some of this move. But then what do we see? We see this is a large one, so you definitely need some other confluences, but we see a descending triangle with a bearish order block. So now we are skeptical of this high being taken. So we just need to reassess some more and find other trades to get into with more confluence going on. So that's just from this little bit of the S&P 30-minute chart. Number of strong moves just with these two confluences. Retest of this order block, lower low. Then if you stayed in, took out runners or took out partials maybe below this low and left runners, caught all of this move. And then retest. We're switching bias now because we now have ascending triangles with bullish order blocks inside of the patterns itself. Higher high and then continues up. So I hope this video was helpful. Again, this is the triangular pivot indicator by Indicator Vault. And until next time, best of luck trading.